Good morning. This is Jenny Abrams with Abrams Home Solutions, and today I am going to give you a home office organization project PowerPoint case study. And usually I talk to the camera myself, but I thought it'd be really cool this time to give you some pictures via PowerPoint and walk you through a recent project that I worked on in a home office. Now, these pictures have been on Facebook and Instagram, but you can only put so much in a caption. And I wanted to provide you with a little bit more information, the who, what, where, why, behind the full story. So I'm gonna advance the PowerPoint and show you the before pictures. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. So this is a client who's a 40-year-old woman in the Chicago suburbs. She has an office in her home. She has 2 kids, a busy family life. She's the CEO of her household, handling all financial, legal, medical, paperwork, as well as the CEO of her family business. That includes buying and flipping properties and maintaining rental properties. She's very involved in her kids' school, the PTO, and other charitable organizations. So like many families, this is a very, very busy mom and very busy family. So the what? Well, we have a cluttered, disorganized home office that became a space for office supplies, paperwork, and other quote-unquote homeless items that were in the space that didn't belong. The space is off of the kitchen, and therefore organizational effort was placed in the mudroom, the kitchen island, the kitchen desk, and the home office. But for today's purposes, I'm going to show you pictures of the office and walk you through that a little bit. This is located on the first floor of the home, again, near the kitchen and the mudroom. Now, the reason why we did this was because the client disliked her space. She was finding that she was running behind with deadlines. She was overwhelmed. She was having a difficult time prioritizing tasks and projects. She was feeling frazzled, anxious, overwhelmed, and this trickled down to affect the quality of her family time. Additionally, she felt she couldn't enjoy her home. She didn't find it to be a restful place. And because of all this, she felt it was affecting her quality of her family time and her marriage and her children as well. So what we did was we worked in 3 phases to organize the home office, starting with decluttering the space. And there was a large bin of electronic devices. I will show you in this picture back here. There was a large bin back here that had electronic devices that the family was no longer using. So we emptied this bin, we donated some items, we consigned and sold some items. Others were recycled responsibly. But basically, that took a long time to kind of go through that and put the right parts together and move those pieces on to other places outside of her home. Other items in the home were other items in the space were returned back to their various homes where they belonged. Some things were recycled, donated, or tossed into the garbage. The second phase consisted of sorting her paper. And I'm going to advance the slides again. Paper in the office included items pertaining to professional and personal documents. The client had previously started a file system in her desk, but there was no system between the paper on her desk, in her files, and on the wall-mounted unit, which I'll show you in a minute. Since there was no home for paper, it ended up on the kitchen island, in the mudroom, on the desk in the kitchen, and sometimes in her office. So we spent time clearing off all these surfaces, consolidating the paper, and then sorting the paper. Now, some of it was redundant and it was no longer needed and it was purged appropriately. We created designated space for action, reference, and archive papers. The action items were sorted into a large divided bin on the ancillary desk, which in this picture here, this is the ancillary desk, and I will show you the new sorter in just a second. The reference paper was stored in a wall unit, and outgoing paper and other items went to the mudroom, where a separate organization unit was installed. Now, the third phase consisted of developing a paper flow and tracking system for tasks and projects. Again, both personal and professional. So paper coming in through the garage and mudroom was sorted immediately, purged as needed, and brought into the office for further sorting. And I will show you in this picture, you can see how we sorted that into different tasks and projects. Any magazines and kids' homework went to the kitchen desk. Completed school and artwork went into a bin outside of the office for further sorting and purging at a later date. Anything outbound landed in the outbound system in the mudroom. Tasks and projects were prioritized. The next 2 to 3 action steps were identified for each project. And a template was created to batch and time block the task and project into specific days of the week. So what I want to show you here is this system right here was for the client's most pressing action to-do items. So anything that needed immediate attention within the next 24 to 48 hours was placed in this bin right at her desktop where your most important action paperwork should be. Now, some of the other action items or tasks were sorted into this system on the ancillary desk, and the system over here was more for her short and long-term projects. Anything that was archival information that she really didn't need on a daily basis or very regularly was placed in the office, the desk cabinet, and there's a file system in there that we created for things that are more archival that she needs to hang on to long term but does not need to see on a daily basis. So as a result, after working through this space and through this project, the client can now easily identify the status of her tasks and projects. Paper is ending up in the correct home. Mudroom, kitchen, office are now decluttered. There's a better flow. The client can walk into her office each day of the week with a plan of attack. She no longer dreads being in the space. The backlog of paper, tasks, and projects have been cleared up, and the client is up to date again. A manageable system has been created to continue the paper flow and the task and project system going forward. And the end result, the client is more productive. The family is enjoying all of their spaces now more, as this was affecting, like I said, the kitchen and the mudroom. The client feels less stressed and overwhelmed and anxious, and she can better enjoy her family time and feels as though that time is a higher quality since she is not feeling so stressed and overwhelmed. So that is it in a nutshell. I hope that you found this to be helpful. If you did, leave me a comment. Let me know what other projects you might want to see in the future shown in this format. And I appreciate you checking in today. Have a great one. Bye-bye.